Right then, so the one on the right then, Chris, is your first before, what I want to call it, okay, with the over-the-top sensation. Okay, so takeover was actually pretty good. Top of the backswing got a little bit high here, but then your first move now coming with the shoulder. Okay, so the shoulder starts coming through in that club shaft now. We can see kind of quite steep through that right shoulder, okay? Then as you start coming back down, you're trying to sort of stall things. Handles now rising to try and flick that club to square the club face up. Doesn't have enough flick. Ball starts too far right and it starts leaking out to the right. Then we kind of sort of see that shot. If you use your hands better, we saw that shot. If we use the hands correctly for the type of swing you actually had, we saw that shot, but it was 1 in 3, and if it wasn't good, it was such a destructive miss one way or t'other. It was just too hard to be consistent with, really. So what we want to try and feel, and again, if I go back to these sort of lines on here now, to kind of show you where you were.
Don't feel as though I'm quite complete in the backswing here as well, because it's still quite...
it's not too bad, that's the downswing there. Right, so this one here is the practice swing, okay? So turning back, now again, your arms are a little bit flat for me. Don't want to... I hate the old sort of towel under the arms with the old T-Rex thing, and then you get very sort of stuck, and then the only way your arms can move now is if your body starts throwing forward, so it doesn't really encourage a down the line.
Do you think your shoulders are a bit flat there as well?
Yeah, I mean, I want your arms to be a little bit kind of in between where they were. In reality, when the ball gets there, they did get a little bit higher, to be fair. But just watching this downswing now, just watch your arm moving there. It almost looks like you're almost throwing that club out there. So, but there's no over the top with that, and that club's in some ways a bit too flat, which is fine. Because there we want that club shaft in line with your forearm. It's actually a bit underneath your right forearm, okay? But this is practice, so you're exaggerating the club the other side of the spectrum from being super steep to super shallow, and then when the ball gets there, the theory behind it is that you practice the other side again. Toe cone down to the other, head face down the ground, up the top, there. You'd swear that's an over-the-top kind of cast, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you actually watch where that club's coming through, sort of your body parts, through your right forearm there nicely, and then from there, once you're in that position, we just turn the torso. And if you actually do all these exaggerated feelings here now, when you come to the golf ball, okay, so it's the golf ball here now, then you get back to a higher backswing, which we expect anyway, okay? Now as the arms start coming back down through, back of frame, come here, there you go. The difference in that downswing compared to where you were. So this is now coming through more through your shoulder,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the steeper angle, that's the flatter angle, okay? As you start then coming back down, you're able to square that club face up a lot more effectively without trying to manipulate the golf club too much. What you will find, though, because your instincts are you've got to try and square the club face up, but you don't, because the club face is already straight or stronger anyway. You'll find you'll probably get a slightly more this way, okay? But at least it's a one-way miss rather than a two-way miss. You'll still get a couple like the last one with the driver where you just try to spin it too hard. And it's so hard then, because if you're hitting a 7-iron or a 6-iron or a 5-iron, if you want to hit that further, you can take more club. When you get the driver, there's nothing beyond that. You just whack it as hard as you can. So understanding how we kind of get that club head speed up rather than the body speed, okay? We never want to get speed with the shoulder coming at it too fast or spinning at it.
I think sometimes I do get a bit quick sometimes. I think if I do a more deliberate backswing and slow it, and try almost pause at the top, it tends to be a better strike.
And then it's interesting. A lot of people feel when they actually swing the top of the backswing, they get there now. They almost feel like a pause from here, because what's happening is the body stops moving. In effect, it's not kind of throwing it forward this way. It's almost like the body stops and the arms are just falling, which you can't really sort of feel that much. So it does feel to a lot of people almost like a pause. I'm not suggesting we go sort of a Hideki Matsuyama or stand there, make a cup of tea. But that feeling of pausing is almost like these are kind of just falling down while this part of the body up here stays back. And that's going to let your arms now work this way. The reason you were steep over the top was because the shoulder was coming forward, because you were trying to do what you had to do, because the face being open and going off to the right here, now you had to make that move, but then you try to shallow the shaft out and you got yourself in a world of hurt because your shoulder's coming and the club face is back there. You know, well, where do you go from there now? It's like you're just stuck with nothing to do. And then you're trying to flip your hands over it and really, really struggle to make any sort of contact from there. So do your practice swings. Again, I would exaggerate this, and again, do it at home, on the golf course, that there. And almost actually looking back, there's still a little bit of hip twist there, as you can see, which there will be, but trying to keep that body and shoulder back. Once he stays back, this shoulder here, there's no way your club, that club's not been steep, is it?
No.
You'd find it very hard to swing the club steep if that shoulder stays back there.
Once it's coming in here, sort of waist high, it's going to suddenly straighten up that high, is it?
Exactly, yeah. You're not, and again, for you to swing the body and do that minimal amount of movement would be pretty tricky anyway.
Yeah.
So exaggerate it at the other end of the spectrum. So this end, as we say, is like big spin with the shoulders, very fast with the top half and stuff, and spinning out club steep. And the club angle being steep is a symptom of this shoulder working incorrectly. Okay. If you try and fix a symptom, it's like telling somebody don't cough.
It's all your basic problems, so we go to the root cause, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Exactly. And the fault still remains, but then you change something else to fix it, and then you've got two wrongs making a right. And as a good player, you'll figure out where straight is, and it will go straight on the range eventually after 10 or 15 shots. But then you're on the golf course, and it's like, what the hell was that change again? And it's back to being...
Yeah, you just think, I found something that's working, and all of a sudden you go back out there and go, well, I'm in the same position I was before.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, the fault is still there.
Yeah.
You haven't actually identified the fault and fixed the fault. All you've done is just basically adapted the fault. So rather than get that sort of sensation to flatten the shaft, just slow him down. Once he slows down, the club naturally, the weight, physics is on your side. Gravity's dropping the club down that way. Doesn't want to go in this direction, does it? Because it's a heavy weight.
Yeah.
Yes, the drive is easier to not do that because it's lighter, and we want to give it a whack. And I think it's still that in that brain where you want to hit it with that right shoulder because that in your mind is a powerful move.
Yeah, and being right dominant, I guess, is part of that
exactly.
as well. Yeah.
And we don't want power, we want speed. Power is useless. I mean, if I want power, I'm going to push this table, that's what I'm powerful. But to get speed, I'm not going to do that. If I'm swatting a fly, I want speed. Yeah. That's going to be a far faster move than kind of that shove with the shoulder. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool, okay.